the Jimmy Butler saga in Miami. They suspended him 7 games without pay, so he's losing about $2 million. And the only reason they suspended it was because he went public and said, "I don't want to be here. I'm not happy, whatever." And listen, like these guys, Jimmy. First of all, Jimmy has been. He's kind of been an undercover issue guy. When you're this good, you should not be getting traded at the beginning of the season to Philadelphia from Minnesota. If you're this good, you shouldn't be getting traded from Chicago to Minnesota. Like there was something building up there in Chicago. There was something building up in Minnesota where he said, "Oh, the guys weren't professional enough," and blah blah. And that's basically a knock on Cat at that time, right? And then he goes to Philly, and they didn't want to pay him because they didn't feel that he was a max player. And they were correct. He goes to Miami. They, and in Miami. So for you see people, oh, when Miami hasn't given him the tools or whatever. Listen, he had the tools in Philly. Okay, with Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, they had the players in place, and he didn't get it done. Okay, because when we look at Joel Embiid, we believe that he's one of the 5 to 10 best players in the league, and Jimmy didn't get it done. And I have an issue with these guys in the NBA more than any other sport, where they hold out or they're crying, "I don't want to play here. I want to play with this guy and with that guy and this and that." And it's like, and the reason that's big in the NBA is because I talked about it the other night, how the NBA is kind of connected to the hip hop culture, which is more of a Democrat culture. It just is. So it comes into play, which has been said before, and I believe it was LeBron who said it, or a high level guy like that. Well, we're not slaves. Well, you guys need to understand that when you watch the NBA draft and there's European players, it says rights to fucking Joseph Nurkic or whatever. The rights are to the Phoenix Suns, for example, right? Well, the American players are the same shit. When you get drafted, your rights to play in the NBA are to that team. You don't have the right to play in the NBA. The NBA is giving you the right to play for them and to play for that team. So the Miami Heat, whether Jimmy Butler likes it or not, they have the rights to him as an NBA player. And I know you guys don't want to hear it because you're not slaves, and they're all the owners are white, and you run with that bullshit that we're not slaves and blah blah blah. Guess what? You are slaves to the NBA, and you are slaves to China, the motherfuckers who pay you that you never say anything about. But at the end of the day, you signed a contract to play for the Miami Heat. That's what you did, Jimmy Butler. You do not have the right to sit here and say, "I don't." You can say you don't want to play, fine. That's no problem. That is your right. That's your prerogative. Whatever it is you want to do. You don't want to play, fine. But they don't have to pay you. They don't have to have you sitting around because they can just suspend you because you are being detrimental to the team. That is the truth. They've done plenty to be, and even listen, they've made moves. You guys have made finals. You've made Eastern Conference finals, etc. They've played well. Okay, so maybe your time is done there. Your time is done there, fine. Sit down with Pat. Pat, I don't want to be here. Find me a trade. Let's see what we can do. But when you guys start going public with this shit and crying and this and that, that's why half of America doesn't watch you and they don't like you, because you're pouting fucking millionaires that are crying about playing a sport that we can only dream of because you were blessed with a God-given talent. Okay. And some of you weren't blessed with the God-given talent. You were blessed with being fucking 6'9" or 7 feet.